8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. Regular screening's key. The 5-year survival rate is nearly 100% when caught early. So get checked early and often. If you're a man over 50 or 45 if African American or with a family history, you should talk to a doctor about screening. A prostate cancer diagnosis can be scary, but no one should fight alone. Join us in raising awareness and saving lives. Don't wait. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
What's up, Kansas City? It's Nick Bolton. Tune in on game days to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danon, and Clean on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
I have to say, it's been a much more eventful Tuesday in the sports news world than we are accustomed to. Usually you get a ton of news on Monday, usually some good news, a lot of news Thursday, Friday in the lead up to the weekend. And then, of course, you've got a dump of news on Saturdays and Sundays, and even some on Mondays, especially during the football season with Monday Night Football and everything that comes with it. But Tuesdays and Wednesdays are usually pretty quiet days in the media world. Not the case today, and we've got a ton to get to here on this Tuesday night edition of After Hours. Logan Weber alongside my producer for tonight's show, Nathan Williams. Condensed show tonight. We're around till 7:30, and then we're going to send it over to Josh, who's going to take you through Royals pregame in the build-up to tonight's Royals-Angels game. Royals with only 6 regular season games remaining on their schedule. The chances of making the postseason, dismal. Slim to pretty much an impossible none at this point. But they've still got something to play for, and we'll talk about that throughout the show. A lot of NFL news to get to. Some more Major League Baseball news from around the world that does have a Royals connection to it, as well as some college football, because we got 2 big stories college football-wise, both of them out of the state of Oklahoma today that we can't wait to discuss. But let's begin with last night's Monday Night Football matchup, Lions-Ravens. Of course, this is a game that means a little bit of something to Chiefs fans because coming up this Sunday, the Baltimore Ravens are coming to Arrowhead, a matchup that we have seen many, many times, especially in the postseason. And these two teams will both be 1-2 when they get to GEHA Field on Sunday late morning, early afternoon. Lions win last night 38-30. So, hey, it's a Lions game. You can anticipate a high-scoring affair, and that was the case last night. Jared Goff, 20 of 28 for 202 and a touchdown. Lamar Jackson did everything he possibly could last night, in my opinion. Watching that game, it sort of felt a little bit like watching Patrick Mahomes with the Kansas City Chiefs the past few seasons, except he has better weapons than Mahomes. He goes 21 of 27, 288, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He even had 35 yards rushing in this game on only 7 carries. That was another part of it that kind of surprised me, was that Lamar wasn't doing a lot beyond the line of scrimmage with his feet throughout this game. That was sort of the offense for the Baltimore Ravens, was just give it to number 8 and see what he can make happen. I mean, Derrick Henry, 12 carries, 50 yards, and a touchdown, but he did have yet another fumble. His 3rd in the first 3 weeks of the season for Baltimore. That is a disturbing trend if you're a Ravens fan. Also a disturbing trend if you are a Jahmyr Gibbs fantasy football owner. Everybody who decided to take him top 5, maybe we were a little bit presumptuous about the backfield relationship between he and his counterpart in David Montgomery. Everybody was riding high with Jahmyr Gibbs and the workload that he could see this year. And he hasn't been bad. I'm not suggesting that he's been terrible. He's got 180 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground through the first 3 games of the year. It's about, 60 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown on average per game. But is that worthy of a top 5 pick? That does call it into question just a little bit. He has 18 catches this year for 73 yards, no receiving touchdowns either. Meanwhile, David Montgomery has 233 rushing yards this year and 3 rushing touchdowns, including last night's game, 12 carries, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He averaged over 12 and a half yards a carry. Now, was that ballooned by the 72-yard rushing touchdown he had? Absolutely. But I think that we were maybe a little quick to jump the gun on, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the guy. He's going to be the featured back, and David Montgomery is going to take a back seat to him. That hasn't really been the case, at least so far this year. Gibbs has gotten more carries, but he has about 50 less yards and the same number of rushing touchdowns as David Montgomery. We'll see if that trend continues. So the biggest story of this game is that both of these teams couldn't stop the other one for the most part. I mean, the Lions were able to generate a turnover in this game, right? Something that Baltimore wasn't able to do, and maybe that was the reason for the 8-point swing in this one. But neither of these teams really did a very good job of stopping the other team offensively. If you're the Kansas City Chiefs defense, one thing you need to be looking for, this Ravens offensive line is struggling right now. The Ravens still somehow scored 30 points in this football game, despite their offensive line being thoroughly dominated by Detroit's front seven for 60 minutes. Detroit, in this game, had 6 TFLs and 7 sacks. They sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times. Maybe as difficult a quarterback to bring down as there is in this league outside of potentially Josh Allen. I think everybody would agree that it probably goes Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, and then kind of everybody else to an extent. 7 sacks of Lamar Jackson last night. Meanwhile, the Baltimore defense, none. Big factor in that game. So if you're the Chiefs' defensive front, that front seven, you haven't done a good enough job of getting to the quarterback yet this year. And they would be the first ones to tell you that. We've heard that from guys like George Karlaftis and Chris Jones already this year, that they were disappointed with the way that they played last year and their ability to generate pressures and sacks, and frustrated with the way that this year has begun for them. I mean, it took Chris Jones until the second half of that game on Sunday night against the Giants to get his first sack of the year. I can't speak off the, top of my head with the knowledge, but I don't know the last time that Chris Jones had to wait that long into a season to get his first sack. Maybe a couple of years ago when he missed the first game of the year against Detroit. So it's just, the opportunity is there based off what we saw last night. And the Lions do have a talented defense, but I think that the Chiefs defense is just as talented. And we know what Steve Spagnuolo likes to dial up. I really, really think that the Chiefs front seven can get to Lamar Jackson this upcoming Sunday. And if they do that, it could have a major impact on this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's interesting to me how, now, to preface, the Ravens are getting in the end zone at a higher clip. The Chiefs are, outside of the first half against the Chargers, well, really, I could say the first half in every game. In the second half of all 3 of these games, they've moved the ball. They haven't converted enough of those into touchdowns, and the Ravens are doing more of that. So I'm not saying these offenses are the same. But I do think they mirror each other in an interesting way. There are protection issues. There is a Hall of Famer on the offense that's not the quarterback, that's actively sabotaging a couple of games, it seems like. And it's a quarterback playing hero ball. And Lamar's doing it, it's through the air. So you said he rushed 7 times the other night. He's got 15 carries in the season. He's averaging 5 carries a game, which you figure is less than what you would anticipate, especially with the lack of help he's getting. He's doing this through the air. He's combined for 10 touchdowns and hasn't turned the ball over yet. So Lamar's playing very, very well. I love a text out of the 816 about spying Lamar as he's playing this hero ball, as he's running around, as he's scrambling, trying to make the play. Man, that's what Leo Chenal did so well in that AFC Championship game 2 years ago. So the Chiefs have got a guy behind that initial pass rush as well. So I think the Chiefs defense is well equipped to handle this version of the Ravens offense. But yeah, just overall, it's a very interesting dichotomy. The two offenses are very similar coming into this one, in my opinion.
Completely agree with you on the possibility of spying Lamar Jackson. Because a couple of weeks ago during that Chargers game, if you had said that to me following, I'd said there's no way that they can spy Lamar Jackson because they're having so many issues stopping the passing game in the first place. Well, since that point, they held Jalen Hurts to nearly 100 yards passing over a 60-minute game. And then on Sunday, it wasn't necessarily pretty, but lest we forget, Russell Wilson threw for 450 yards against the Cowboys 2 weeks ago. And then on Sunday, the Chiefs hold him to 160 yards passing, no touchdowns, 2 picks, and he just got benched today. So I think the secondary of the Kansas City Chiefs is once again proving that they are a unit that can be trusted. Whether it's a 4 DB or a 5 DB look, Noel Williams has really kind of come into his own over the last couple of games. We've seen him sort of progressively take more and more of those snaps at the outside corner spot opposite of Jalen Watson, allowing Trent McDuffie to slide back into that slot corner role, which he is the best in professional football at. He's still an elite outside corner, don't get me wrong, but he is the best slot corner in football. And anybody who argues either isn't paying attention or doesn't look at the numbers, because the tape that you see and the stats that are in front of you tell you the story. Trent McDuffie's the best slot corner in football. And so by allowing him to slide into what I believe to be his natural position, it has really benefited this safety a lot, or this secondary a lot. I think Shamari Connor has been a little bit better than he was a season ago, which was a good sign because he had a difficult year last year. Jaden Hicks, has he been an exact replica of Justin Reed to this point? No, not yet, but I believe he's getting there. There are signs of improvement. He was all over the football field on Sunday against New York. Brian Cook made several great plays in the back end Sunday against the Giants. He thankfully avoided a serious injury, I believe, with that scary scene in the end zone with Malik Neighbors. And, Chris Roland Wallace just shows up and gets the first turnover of the year for the Chiefs. Didn't have that on my bingo card, I can assure you of that. So I think that you're exactly right. The way that this Chiefs secondary is playing right now, I think it frees up a lot for the linebacking core of the Kansas City Chiefs, where on obvious passing situations, you can spy Lamar Jackson or you can send extra pressure if you want to, because so far that's been what the Chiefs have to do. They've had to blitz a little bit more often, although they didn't do as much of that on Sunday, and the Chiefs pressured Russell Wilson on over half of his dropbacks, which was good. Now, the Giants do have trouble on the offensive line. That is for sure. They got one of their best offensive linemen back, and he immediately went down with an injury in that game on Sunday. They had to throw a rookie in there. So the Ravens' offensive line on paper looks better. But again, I just said it. Yesterday, they gave up 7 sacks to the Detroit Lions, who do have an uber-talented front seven, but it is a young front seven. It is a relatively unproven front seven outside of Aiden Hutchinson, who's coming off a pretty serious injury from a season ago. So I think the opportunity is most definitely there. And this game, I felt so awkward on Sunday in lead up to the Chiefs-Giants Sunday night game, saying that this was must win for the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, they got it done. This one is not quite as much of a must-win if you're the Chiefs, but it's still a pretty big game if you want to have even a slight chance of accomplishing some of the things you're setting out to accomplish.
Divisional aspirations being
exactly.
the biggest one.
The biggest one, I completely agree, is winning the AFC West. You look at Week 4, you've already got the Chargers, who are undefeated. They're 3-0 so far this season. And next week, they're going to try to get to 4-0 themselves by taking on the New York Giants, who are going to be trotting out rookie quarterback Jackson Dart, and they're likely going to be trotting out rookie now starting running back Cam Scatterbu. Probably what they should have done weeks ago, but that's where we are now because they benched Russell Wilson, the injury to Tyrone Tracy Jr. Chargers are going to more than likely get to 4-0 next week. If you lose to the Ravens and you're now already 3 games back 4 weeks into the season, that is a monumentally tall mountain to try to climb back over. It also throws a wrench into your chances of the 1 seed, if that's even still a possibility, right? I mean, The Bengals are 2-1, but they're without their starting quarterback and Joe Burrow for seemingly a pretty long time at this rate. And Jake Browning is kind of crazy good, crazy bad right now. He'll either throw a 60-yard touchdown pass or a 60-yard pick. Those are your options seemingly with him. We talked about the Chargers already. You've got the Buffalo Bills 3-0. They've got the Saints on Sunday. So that's another winless ball club who is having a quarterback conversation of, do we just keep going with Spencer Rattler and continue this combination of insanity and that we do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result? Or do they go to their rookie quarterback that they drafted? So I think it's fair to say, barring the NFL being the NFL and having these weird outcomes, that the Bills and Chargers will stay undefeated in the AFC. The only other undefeated team in the AFC right now is the Indianapolis friggin' Colts with Daniel Jones at quarterback. I don't know what world we're in right now, but they go to Los Angeles to play the Rams at SoFi Sunday afternoon. The Rams are a really good football team. I would pick them to win that game. I think that's the most difficult team that the Colts will have played so far this year, but if they were to somehow win that game, you're looking at 3 teams within the AFC 4 weeks into the year who are undefeated, and the loser of this game on Sunday being the Chiefs and the Ravens falling to 1-3. 3 games back, 4 weeks into the season, and I can't speak about what the Ravens' rest of their schedule looks like. I know that they've played at least, I think they've only played 1 division game to this point, and it was against the Browns. The Chiefs, also 7 remaining division games. You've got to play the Chargers again. You've got to play the Raiders, 5 left. You've got to play the Raiders twice. You've got to play the Broncos twice, and you still got that game left against the Chargers, that rematch. So I don't know. I think for either one of these teams, a loss, I think, kills your chances at a 1 seed. Man, and really, if you're the Chiefs especially, puts you at a marked disadvantage to even contend for the division. If you fall to 1-3 with the way the Chargers are playing right now, it may be in your best interest to try to shoot for second place in the division and get a wild card berth.
I think the 1 seed chances are slim right now.
I agree.
And I think for Baltimore, I'd rank them at close to 0. They already don't have the tiebreaker over Buffalo. And you know, you mentioned Buffalo's easy opponent this week. It seems like they get the equivalent of the Saints 90% of the rest of the season. Their schedule is laughably bad, made up of the Panthers and the Titans and the like. Buffalo's a 13 or 14 win football team. Baltimore is not, just based on math. They just aren't. They're going to split with the Steelers like they do every year. They've got to play in Kansas City and so on and so forth. And I could make a similar argument for the Chiefs when you consider, look, Logan, if we are going to mock people for picking the Bills over the Chiefs in the playoffs, we've got to almost do the same when it comes to that game in Buffalo in the regular season. It's just as likely, not as likely, just as frequent that the Bills take care of the Chiefs in the regular season as well. So I think those chances are slim already, and I think probably the Chiefs and the Chargers are the only ones that I'd even toss my hat in the ring of it being a possibility. I don't have very much confidence in either of them. Lost this week and it's done. I think the Chiefs' divisional hopes go out the window with a loss this weekend, similar to you. I don't think that's the case for the Ravens with Burrow out for the year. And with the Steelers, you know, they're going to be a 9-win football team at the end of the year. I think the Ravens are fine in their division with a loss this week, and therefore probably the 2 or 3 seed as well. I think the Chiefs, I think you can forget about the division, save a miracle with a loss to Baltimore this Sunday.
Yeah, I love the omission. I think it was a purposeful omission to not even mention that the Cleveland Browns are in the AFC North because they don't have a snowball's chance in hell of winning the division. And I agree with you. I think that the Chiefs, with a win on Sunday, have a better chance at the 1 seed than the Ravens do. And the only reason I say that is because the Ravens have already played the Bills and lost that game. The Chiefs still have it. They still have Buffalo on the schedule. They still have one more game against the Los Angeles Chargers on their schedule. So if you win both of those games, then you would hold a tiebreaker over Buffalo. And, you know, you're right. The Bills do not have an incredibly difficult schedule by any means. You know, their toughest matchups are probably Kansas City in Buffalo, the Eagles in Buffalo, and then that road game against Houston. that's probably as difficult as it gets. You've got
the winless Houston Texans.
Yes,
for
some reason,
quick,
they have completely fallen apart there in Houston. I really thought that they were going to be a team that could have success and have it for a long time. Strong defensive guys, both young guys and veterans, with like Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson on their front seven, Derek Stingley. And then the offense with C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. They just drafted 2 wide receivers, and they brought in Christian Kirk because of all the injury, and it has just equated to nothing.
Well, you're going to get 2 matchups between the Colts and the Jaguars in the month of December, seemingly for the division. So that's appointment television all of a sudden, Logan.
Wow. Couldn't have predicted that one in early September, let alone back in February or March of this year. 913-586-7965 is our number. We'll continue to talk NFL news. Lots of injuries coming down the pike already early in the season. We'll discuss those next here on After Hours. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Robside Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
The wait is finally over. Football season is here, and FanDuel is getting you ready for kickoff with an offer that you don't want to miss. New customers, you can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, any bet. Bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. Use it how you want. Build your favorite parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style is. Remember, FanDuel has you covered. Be sure to check out FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use that promo code to download the FanDuel app today and get started. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after free. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Here we go!
This week, it's a must-see matchup as Lamar and the Ravens visit Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Oh my goodness!
Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Tonight, expect showers and thunderstorms with a low of 64.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
Get ready, Chiefs Kingdom. We've got a powerhouse lineup of guests this season. Mitch Holtis, Danon Hughes, and Josh Klingler bring you insight from the booth to the field on weekdays and game days. Insider scoops from Nate Taylor and Josh Briscoe keep you up to date all week long. Former linebacker Derek Johnson and, oh yeah, two-time MVP Patrick Mahomes every Tuesday. Don't miss a minute all season long. Right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Injuries in the sports world are inevitable, right? That's the nature of the beast. But I don't know if off the top of my head I can recall a year with this many injuries this early on in the season. I mean, we're 3 weeks in, and we've already got a slew of guys, right? Rashawn Slater with the Chargers out for the year before the season even began. Xavier Worthy goes down in the third play of the second game with that shoulder labrum issue. Baffled that it wasn't season ending. I mean, you hear labrum tear, just off my personal experience, like, when you hear labrum tear, that means a guy's season is done. That's a surgery. That's the arm in the sling for weeks, if not months. And now, 3 weeks into the year, a ton of injury news flying in. Of course, Sunday night, we started to see a lot less of Tyrone Tracy Jr. in that game and a lot more of Cam Scattaboo. That's because at one point, I think it was right off of a passing. I think he caught a pass out of the backfield or something, maybe a little swing route, and he got tattooed on the sideline by Drew Tranquill and another Chiefs player. Well, he dislocated his shoulder. And so he is expected to miss the next 2 to 4 weeks with that injury. So now the rookie slides into the starting role, Cam Scattaboo. I really thought he did a good job on Sunday for the Giants against that Chiefs defense. Cam Scattaboo was a guy that I was not necessarily very high on in the running back room going in that running back class in the 2025 NFL draft. But boy, I think it's fair to say the Chiefs could use him on their roster through the first 3 weeks of the season. He had 121 total yards in the game on 16 touches, including at least one touchdown including the only touchdown of the game for the New York Giants. So expect him to be the starting quarterback paired along with Jackson Dart. The Giants announcing today that they're going to go with the first-round pick out of Ole Miss rather than the veteran in Russell Wilson. That is not an injury-related thing. That is a Brian Daboll is trying to save his job, and the last-ditch effort is to trot out the rookie starting quarterback that everybody cheers for when you put him in the game and then boos you when you take him out of the game. Smart move by Brian Daboll and company, just trying to keep their jobs for a little while longer, or at least trying to. So the Giants are going to go with an entirely rookie backfield in the near future. The Dallas Cowboys are already struggling, especially offensively and defensively for that matter. They traded away arguably their best player in Micah Parsons, who they play this week against the Green Bay Packers, and now they're dealt yet another blow as CeeDee Lamb is now expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Earlier today, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said that IR is a consideration for CeeDee Lamb. They're already without 2 starters on their offense. Now they could potentially be without their third and arguably their best offensive player. I should say unarguably their best offensive player. Certainly weapon. They're without Cooper Beebe, their starting center, who has a broken bone in his foot. Booker, another starter for the Cowboys, is set to miss time as well. So the Dallas Cowboys, already shorthanded, dealt a major blow today in the form of CeeDee Lamb. And speaking of teams that always seem to be playing behind the 8 ball, especially when it comes to injuries, how about the San Francisco 49ers? Brock Purdy's already hurt. although you haven't really missed a beat with Mac Jones. He's looked really, really good. George Kittle's been hurt, but the offense has still been able to generate points. You got rid of all these defensive players from last season, and now you lose your best one. An MRI this morning, or yesterday morning, confirmed that defensive end Nick Bosa is out for the year with a torn right ACL. Kyle Shanahan told the folks that earlier today. So Bosa, who was the defensive player of the year 2 or 3 seasons ago, is now set to miss the entire rest of this year. And if you're the San Francisco 49ers, there's certainly a fear that exists now with Nick Bosa of, is he starting to become as injury prone, or will he become as injury prone as his older brother, Joey Bosa? Because Joey was a fantastic player early in his career. I mean, he was the defensive rookie of the year in his first year back when they were in San Diego. He was then a 5-time Pro Bowler after that, including back in 2024. But he played in 7 games in 2018. He played in 12 games in 2020. He played in 5 games in 2022, and he played in 9 games in 2023. That's a lot of missed time with injuries for Joey Bosa. Nick Bosa hasn't really missed a lot of time since his second year in the league. That was the 2020 season. He only played in 2 games. He's played in at least 14 games every year other than that, but is now sidelined for the year after just 3 games this season.
Yeah, first of all, I'm with you on Scadaboo. Was not high on him he was great at ASU in the playoff run. I get that. Was not high on him, and now he plays sort of like both of your running backs did in their earlier years. Maybe he lacks the home run ability, but he plays a hell of a lot like a bowling ball at times. I'd love him on the Chiefs. And as far as the injuries go, it seems like this happens every year when it comes to the quarterbacks. A couple of them go down quickly, and we have the same rotating cast of backups in different places.
I failed to even mention Joe Burrow as one of those early season injuries.
But the Tyrod Taylors, the Carson Wentzes, the Mac Jones, it's always fun to see where they went in the offseason because it seems like 5 or 6 quarterbacks go down quickly. But the rest of these injuries are like, this is what happens throughout the season with attrition, but it's piling up quick. I mean, you named all the guys. I mean, and Harris and Evans and Lamb and Bosa. I mean, it's left and right. It seems like every time you turn on the news, there's a new skill position player or impact, pass rusher, tackle, Rashawn Slater, missing serious time. I'm not sure what to make of that.
Yeah, you mentioned Mike Evans there. Yeah, he's going to miss 3 or 4 weeks with a hamstring issue, a strained hamstring. So I haven't heard anything about consideration for IR for him. But the Buccaneers are definitely very, very short-handed, I should say, especially in the wide receiver room. They're already without Chris Godwin, who is trying to get back from ankle surgery, and then Jalen McMillan, who got a neck injury in like their second preseason game, and he's not expected to come back until the bye. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are searching for answers when it comes to their wide receiver room. Terry McLaurin is looking for a second opinion on his quad injury. He is now very uncertain to play in Sunday's game against Atlanta. The Commanders, they have started 2-1, but Jaden Daniels didn't play last week. They're not uber confident that he's going to play this week. If McLaurin can't go either, then you're without your 2 best offensive players. Washington's going to be your starting running back is done. You traded your backup running back to the San Francisco 49ers before the season even started. That looks like a bad move in hindsight.
Thanks for filling in my gaps there about another one of the rotating cast of those half a dozen backup quarterbacks that just pop up every year and get some run. Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how I forgot all about Jaden Daniels, and that's going to be significant considering them coming into Arrowhead Stadium in 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So could line up with the return there. That'd be an interesting one to watch.
And then just a couple of other NFL stories before we hit the break here. The Houston Texans, after just 3 games, an 0-3 start, have decided to cut ties with veteran safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Anybody who is familiar with the NFL knows that C.J. Gardner-Johnson is a good safety, has been for the bulk of his career, but he is a bit of a hothead. at times, right? He likes to talk trash both to his opponents and sometimes his teammates. In 3 starts this year for Houston, he had 15 tackles, no picks, no pass breakups. The Texans traded Kenyon Green to the Eagles for Gardner Johnson back in March. He had struggled, according to ESPN and sources, he'd struggled to pick up the scheme that head coach D'Amico Ryans had put in place. He was asked about communication between the secondary. He said it hasn't been great. So it sounds like there was a war of attrition here, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson has lost. So now he will become a free agent. I can't imagine for very long, though. Also, last little NFL tidbit that I've got for you for the time being, the Tennessee Titans head coach Brian Callahan has decided he is no longer going to perform play-calling duties for the Tennessee Titans. He is going to be handing them off to quarterbacks coach Bo Hardegree, while Nick Holes will continue to be the offensive coordinator, maintaining the same duties, helping building the game plan. So the head coach is relinquishing play-calling duties, but not to the offensive coordinator, which I find fascinating. So the quarterbacks coach is now going to be the play caller for the Tennessee Titans. So is he? I can't imagine he's going to be the decision maker in that. I imagine is it the offensive coordinator? Is it still going to be Callahan who's going to just tell him what play call to give out? I don't see what this has done, because there's no way the quarterbacks coach is going to have the authority to call the plays based on what he's seeing, basically usurping the offensive coordinator in his role in order to do that. Like if Andy Reid were to at some point relinquish play calling duties and not give it to Matt Nagy or whoever the offensive coordinator is, would be highly scrutinized, investigated. If you were a Kansas City Chiefs fan, that's kind of a bizarre situation.
Yeah, I know we're super late here, and I'll try to be quick. It seems to me like as they transfer these duties, they are attempting to do what you accused Brian Daboll and company of doing with their slow move to Jackson Dart throughout the season. They are trying to get themselves through the season anywhere or another. We changed this up. We tinkered with that. And then hopefully their young quarterback shows promise the back half of this season and allows them to keep their jobs going into next season. But for right now, it's not get fired this year mode. I think that might be what's going on with the play calling situation.
Certainly a tumultuous start to the career of Cam Ward after your first 3 starts of your NFL career. They haven't gone particularly well. You're 0-3. Your head coach is calling the plays. And then all of a sudden the quarterback coach is calling the plays. This is the sort of disservice that can be done to a rookie quarterback in a poor organization. We'll see how it plays out. 913-586-7965. That is our text line number here on After Hours. Logan Weber here hosting tonight's program alongside my producer Nathan Williams. We're around till 7:30 tonight, getting you set for Royals Angels beginning at 8:38. Josh Vernier will take over with the pregame show beginning at 7:30 here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Thank you, KC, for voting Century Roofing the best roofing company in the Metro in the Stars 2025 KC Favorites competition. After 35 years, we're giving back to you by extending our free material upgrade sale through the end of the year. Get a free upgrade to impact-resistant shingles with any roof replacement for better protection and possible insurance savings. Trust the best, Century Roofing. Visit CenturyRoofingKC.com for your free estimate today.
Hey, Century Roofing. Hey, trust the pillars of strength.
Century Roofing, we've got you covered, KC.
I'm Mitch Holtish, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 Inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss.
Call it in the air.
Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Smokehouse Barbecue has always been our choice when it comes to barbecue in Kansas City. We love everything about Smokehouse Barbecue. And now Smokehouse has street tacos, their newest menu item. 3 flour tortillas, chopped burnt ends and smoked sausage, plus corn elote and Cajun sour cream and a side. And now, every Tuesday, kids eat for $1.99 with the purchase of an adult entree. So visit Smokehouse Barbecue in Gladstone, Zona Rosa, or Independence, and at smokehousebbq.com. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Huge savings on Dell AI PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors are here, and they're newly designed to help you do more faster. They can generate code, edit images, multitask without lag, draft emails, summarize documents, create live translations, and even extend your battery life. That's the power of Dell AI with Intel inside. Upgrade today by visiting Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
What's up, football fans? Picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first touchdown scorer wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. This specific promotional offer is not available in Mississippi, Pennsylvania, Puerto Rico, or Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. In Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. In Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Well, it's a bad day if you're a college football fan in the state of Oklahoma or a college football fan of the state of Oklahoma. Two big news stories, one out of Oklahoma State, one out of the University of Oklahoma. The first story we got, this came out earlier today, and not that it surprised anybody that it happened at all, but maybe the timing of it. Earlier today, Oklahoma State University announced the firing of longtime head coach Mike Gundy. Gundy was tied for the second longest tenured head coach in Division I major college football. He was tied with Kyle Whittingham of Utah and just behind the University of Iowa head coach Kirk Ferentz. Gundy fired. That was announced earlier today. The comment that came from athletic director Chad Weberg said, quote, Cowboy football reached an unprecedented level of success and national prominence under Coach Gundy's leadership. I believe I speak for OSU fans everywhere when I say that we are grateful for all he did to raise the standard and show us all what is possible for Oklahoma State football. Gundy, in his 21st season, had really, really good success up until probably the last 2 years, most notably, right? It was fairly consistent for a large chunk of his head coaching career. It took him a little while to get started, but he had a winning record at Oklahoma State every single year from 2006 until 2023. They won at least 7 games and finished above 500 every single year for 17 seasons, 06 to 2023. after he went 4-7 his first year in 2005. But last year, they went 3-9. They were winless, 0-9 in the Big 12 last year, and that was, of course, dead last in the conference. And then this year, the season got off to an even worse start than last season began with. They beat an FCS UT Martin team, a bad, let's face it, really, really bad UT Martin team. Okay, University of Tennessee Martin, the Skyhawks are 0-4. They lost to Oklahoma State by 20. They lost to UTEP by 25. They lost to Southern Illinois by 27, and then lost to Missouri State by 32. So the only team you beat was beaten by 3 other teams, 2 of whom were lower-level FBS, including Missouri State, their first year at the FBS level, and SIU, which is a middle-of-the-road FCS program, all beat UT Martin by more than your Cowboys did. They then lost what I thought was going to be their most embarrassing game of the year on the road to Oregon, 69-3, and then the hits just keep coming. They lose to Tulsa at home on Saturday. A Tulsa team that is basically just filled with guys who didn't have offers from Oklahoma or Oklahoma State play at Tulsa, and they beat them 19-12. So I think that the writing was on the wall that Gundy was going to get fired. I just didn't expect it to be during the season. I thought that, 21 years at the helm, they would give him, sort of the respect that he's been due in that you let him play out the year. But I also understand the appeal of you're already 1-2. You're already well behind the 8 ball. You went 3-9 a year ago. Maybe you try to find somebody else internally within the program already that can kind of continue some of those things that Gundy did culture-wise that you liked, and maybe try to change some of the things that you didn't, some of the off-the-field things and the post-game press conference or pre-game press conference, just the press conference antics of Mike Gundy, right? The I'm a man, I'm 40s.
Come after me!
Yeah.
I'm a man, I'm 40!
What a clip. What an absolute clip. My dad sent me that meme this morning, and it just, it said, I'm a man, I'm 40. But he put it on there with like the picture of him yelling, and it said, I'm a man, I'm fired, is the meme that my dad saw this morning that he sent. But yeah, I didn't expect it to be during the middle of the year. But, I understand the appeal of trying to move on and find something else that works in the program. Gundy had his fair share of issues, right? I mean, he had that clip. There was the Ollie Gordon situation last year where he was talking about, Ollie Gordon being arrested for driving under the influence and said, well, who hasn't done that? I've done it 100 times, or hundreds of times. And it's like, whoa, maybe we don't say that in a press conference, highest paid employee or second highest paid employee in the state, that's kind of wild. He was set to make $6.75 million this season. So because of his firing today and the buyout on his contract, he was under contract, I believe, through the end of the 2028 season or 2029. His buyout is $15 million that Oklahoma State is going to eat in order to move forward and see what will happen now. Doug Meacham, who is the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma State, has now assumed the interim head coaching duties. And then on the other side of the state, in Norman, after a phenomenal start to the year, if you're a Sooners fan, led by your Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback in John Mateer, you're going to have to look elsewhere at the signal caller. He is going to miss the better part of a month after he suffered a broken bone in his right hand in Saturday's win over Auburn. He will undergo surgery. The details of the injury, timeline, those sorts of things were not revealed. But I expect the surgery will probably come down the pike this week. Oklahoma, after their win against Auburn on Saturday, 24-17, jumped up to number 7 in the AP Top 25, their second Top 25 win of the year over Auburn. And now we will look at who the backup quarterback is going to be for the University of Oklahoma. He, as of this moment, is the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. Mateer was. Missing a month of the year, could pretty much kill those chances. The new favorite now is Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza, which is just thrilling for me as an Iowa fan because guess who is coming to Iowa City on Saturday? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Cignetti and Mendoza and the Indiana Hoosiers. That should be fun. But yeah, I apologize profusely if you're a fan of the state of Oklahoma. That is quite unfortunate for both of you to deal with what you have to deal with now. Without your starting quarterback, if you're Oklahoma, and for Oklahoma State, it is the, I believe, warranted and needed firing of the leader of your program for the past 2 decades in order to try to move on and move forward and figure out what comes next as a program. After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan. My producer, Nathan Williams, behind the glass, doing a great job. I'm Logan Weber. Stick around. We're with you till 7:30 tonight, right before Royals baseball pregame begins at 7:30, followed by the first pitch between the Royals and the Los Angeles Angels. That game coming up at approximately 8:38. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
FanDuel is getting you ready for kickoff with an offer you will not want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. The NFL season is finally here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/Alex to download the FanDuel app today and get started. FanDuel's official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan. Must be 21 and present in Kansas. First, online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
This is Dana Hughes. In Kansas City football, we honor tradition, but we always look forward to what's next. That's why I'm all in for Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, crisp, clean, and full of flavor, just the way a light beer should be. It's got the legacy and the stats to back it up. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dana Hughes. BG Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, this is Doug. I'm a patient with Heartland Men's Health. I've been doing low T treatment for just under a year now. I've always dedicated my life to work. I've always found the time to go to gym. I'm 46 years old. My energy level has been on a roller coaster. With work, when we would have like long, stressful meetings, I would notice that I was very exhausted and drained afterwards. And with the low T treatment, I'm not as stressed. I started to feel a lot more level-headed. The roller coaster kind of went away. I think Heartland Men's Health, they really have it figured out. The professional staff, I think it's a wonderful treatment for men of any age. And it's definitely a benefit I'm going to continue.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler's workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come check us out at your nearby store. Our engagement rings are made with love from our hands to yours, because a friend knows your love deserves the highest quality. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro. On them, it's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
With 24 monthly bill credits on Experience Beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended. Balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Short segment here before we head to the final, 30 minutes of our show here tonight. Royals baseball, first pitch at 8:38 p.m. Central Time. Royals are, of course, on the road against Los Angeles Angels. They've only got 6 games left in the season. Sitting at 78-78, their playoff chances are dashed, but they could. There's still things to seemingly play for a little bit. One of those being, if you go 4-2 over these last 6 games, you finish with an above 500 record. Meaning that the Royals could have back-to-back seasons with a winning record since the 2014-15 seasons. Now, have these 2 years been as successful? Obviously not. Those 2 teams went to back-to-back World Series and won one of them. But I think that it shows you a level of growth that this organization hasn't seen in quite some time. I saw a stat earlier this week that, 78 wins for this Royals team already this year. That is only the 8th time in the last 32 years that the Royals have won at least 78 games. So the level of disappointment is there, and rightfully so, right? I think Royals fans should be a little bit bummed out that they didn't have a better year than they had. I mean, Bobby Witt Jr. with a 7 WAR this season. Maikel Garcia really came into his own and became an all-star. He's got a WAR up over 5. And the Royals are, as of now, the only team in baseball to have 2 players with at least 30 doubles and 30 home runs. Salvador Perez and Vinny Pasquantino. If Salvi is able to notch 4 more RBIs over the course of the next 6 games, he and Vinny Pasquantino would each finish with 30 or more doubles, 30 or more home runs, and 100 or more RBIs on the season. Unfortunately, outside of that, there hasn't been a lot of impressive feats in terms of the Royals hitting and the batting lineup. Kyle Isbell had a much better year than I think people anticipated. He hit 255 this season. Nick Lofton hitting, close to 280 since he got brought back over from Pittsburgh. I think that the pieces are in place, and we've seen that all year long. This team's not quite ready for the moment. That's probably the story of this year, that they're close, but they're just a little bit, just a few pieces away, just a couple of things here or there. And one of those things might just be youth. It might just be inexperience, but you've got young guys like Jack Caglione, who's been much better since he got called back up, and Carter Jensen, who has been a revelation since he arrived in Kansas City on the 1st of the month. We'll see if it continues. We may talk a little bit more Royals baseball coming up here on the other side of the break, but I don't want to do too much of that because you're going to hear from Josh coming up at 7:30, his hour-long pregame show, getting you set for Royals Angels at 8:38 coming up tonight. Again, with you till 7:30 this evening. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams, a producer for tonight's show, doing a great job as always. 913-586-7965 is our number right here on After Hours on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Home's the best time of year to clean up the outside of your home or business, and the best way to do that is with a fresh coat of paint from my friends at CertaPro Painters. You want your home or business to make a great impression, and that starts with the exterior. And when you choose CertaPro Painters, you're choosing the best in the business for your job. CertaPro Painters go the extra mile. If there's a way to save you money, they'll let you know. And they take care of every detail from start to cleanup. So do what we did and schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
This is Creed Humphrey. Kansas City has the best fans in the world and the best bull riding team in the PBR. The Outlaws are looking to win it all this year, but they can't do it without you. I'm the chief of Outlaw Attitude, and I need you to pack the house. So buckle up and make some noise. The Outlaws are coming, and we know KC will be there with us. Come see Kansas City's next dynasty and join me at PBR Team Outlaw Days, October 3rd through 5th.
People who suffer from long-term chronic joint pain spend so much of their time acting, putting up a carefree front. It's exhausting.
I was really tired of trying to act like I wasn't in pain because I was in pain all the time.
Rick Rawlings didn't want everyone else to know that he was coping with agonizing shoulder pain 24/7.
Yes, I had to put on a face to cover up my pain.
But then Rick found QC Kinetics, offering new lasting treatments for joint pain using natural biologics. Treatments designed to restore and repair joint tissue with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The results were amazing.
I am very glad. It changed my life doing the QC Kinetics. Today, my shoulders feel wonderful. The cranky Rick is gone. He's not grouchy anymore.
No more acting. Feel like yourself again with a call to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299.
Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is GiveMeTheVin.com. We love to buy cars. People don't trust car buyers. People think the price is going to be wrong, and people think it's going to be a hassle. Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is what we do at GiveMeTheVin.com, and that's what makes us America's best car buyer. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com right now and get a quote on yours.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Partner with the business that's ready to work for yours, The Home Depot. We supply the support your job needs with the level of service your business deserves. Streamline operations and get more done with The Home Depot. How pros get more done.
Numerous brands to choose from, endless options, one incredible experience. At Aristocrat Motors, we treat every driver like royalty and offer the finest luxury vehicle experience in Kansas City. Come see us today and let us roll out the red carpet for you.
What's up, football fans? Picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first touchdown scorer wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. This specific promotional offer is not available in Mississippi, Pennsylvania, Puerto Rico, or Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. In Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-APP. In Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
All right, I know this is a sports show, but I'm going to take an opportunity here for just a few minutes. Get something off my chest. As many of you know, listening to me over the past, 9 months or so, since I started in early January, since making the move from Springfield, where my wife and I lived previously, I'm working here at the station part-time, mostly doing this show here on evenings during the week. I have a day job. I am a substitute teacher during the day. And I have something to say. Our children are chronically online, and it is becoming a problem.
I thought you might say 6-7. I kind of thought...
That's exactly where I'm going.
Now, I don't know what that means. I'm going to let you take it back. but I just know that it's a thing.
If I have to hear that one more time, I might have to end up like sedated in a rubber room. I don't know what it is about this random trend that started over the summer. And there's this song that's out. And I don't even know what the song, I've never heard the song in its entirety. Just saw it on TikTok. And this song apparently gained some level of popularity. And there was a prominent high school basketball player, like really good. I mean, he's like a 4 or 5 star. He's going to end up playing at a major D1, who was like in an interview or something. And he kind of did like a 6-7 sort of thing. And he like kind of made this like up and down motion with his hands. And for some reason, that has now become a thing online. And it is all over TikTok feeds everywhere. And so now, 600 times a day, I have to hear a child say 6-7 over and over and over and over again. And especially, I don't know what it is about junior high kids in particular, that like they really, like they hear something for the first time, or they say something for the first time, and either they think it's funny or they say it and other people around them think it's funny, that it becomes their entire personality after that. And they'll just repeat it. I've had kids say it 50 times in a 50-minute class period. It's unbelievable. Like, it's the only thing they say. And so I'm asking politely, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, legal guardians of your children, please get them to stop saying it, because I can guarantee you your children's teachers will be eternally grateful. Like, I'm online too. I have social media. I have to have social media. It's quite literally a part of my job. So yeah, I see the things that your children see. But as an adult with a fully developed brain, at least I think, that might be more terrifying than the thought of it not being fully developed. I don't feel the incessant need to repeat something over and over and over again. For some reason, these kids, that's all they do. And 6-7 or something about a Labubu, which I guess is like a toy. I have no idea. It's just these things that these kids hear it either online or from their friends who see it online, and they just repeat it incessantly, that it gives me headaches. Like, by the time I hit the end of the school day, every time I hear 6-7, it's just like this knee-jerk reaction of like causing me physical harm at this point.
You a Parks and Rec fan?
I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never watched the show in its entirety.
I was just going to say, you sound a lot like some of those folks that come to the town halls and just sort of, shout at clouds.
A little bit. That's kind of what I feel like.
I'll say this. We can get back to sports mercifully. As someone who fancies himself, like thinks that of myself, that I am in touch with, what's hip.
Mm-hmm.
This 6-7 thing has completely missed me, and that's a much more in-depth explanation than I've ever received, including from the junior high kids in my family. They don't give an explanation. They just say it over and over and over and over. So thank you for the PSA.
Yeah, and then you ask them to stop saying it, and that just makes them want to say it more, where they'll walk by my classroom. Whole groups of kids will walk by the classroom that I'm in and just yell it in the hallway because they know that I'm in that classroom over there. And it's just part of it's my own fault because I have made it known to my students that it bothers me. And now they use it as like a badge of honor. They use it as like a cattle prod just to get just to goad me, just to get a reaction out of me. And it's working. And I feel like they took notes from my younger brother to do that, because the only thing in my life that has ever been able to get me that upset has been Iowa Hawkeye football, Kansas City Chiefs football, and my younger brother. And now, for some reason, this whole 6-7 meme that is seemingly sweeping the globe.
I'm no teacher, so kudos to you for what you do. What would have stopped me from doing that when I was a kid is my teacher doing it themselves, not letting us know that it bothered them, but you getting out in front of it and doing it yourself. So this one is lost. But on the next one, maybe try to be an early adopter of that. And just flush it out of your classroom.
That's
I don't know.
not
It can't
a bad
go
idea.
worse than it sounds like this one's going.
No, that's a great idea. Like now that I think about it, Like, there was nothing that killed the momentum of something you thought was funny faster than an adult doing it or saying it, because then you're like, oh, you ruined it.
Yeah, and you're
like you ruined the
you're
fun.
Like 54 in these kids' minds. You know what I mean? Like you're ancient,
dude,
and so you doing that would.
I got hit with an elder millennial today, and that's not the first time I've been hit with it this year. I'm like, excuse me? They ask me how old I am. I tell them how old I am. I'm 27, almost 28, and they're like, oh, you're like an older millennial. It's like, I will have you know,
bro, we're in the same generation.
I am elder Gen Z, sir. Okay, why don't you mind your business? I was baffled. I'm like, like a 15-year-old kid telling me I'm an elder millennial. I'm like, I'm not an elder millennial. That's like 1984. Like, if anything, I'm like a late millennial, early Gen Zer. Like 96 to 98 is sort of that in between area. And I was smack dab early 98. So I am Gen Z, but I'm sort of a kid that, like, I grew up with VHS tapes and, you know, all these other things that my younger siblings, who are both no doubt Gen Zers, really didn't. Like, my sister doesn't know what a VCR is. She was born in 2003. So, like, I'm sort of in this kind of like in-between area of, if we're speaking technically, I am Gen Z, but I experienced a lot of what millennial kids from the early to mid-90s experienced too. So, yeah, I don't know. Just wanted to get that off my soapbox. If you're a parent, please get your kids to stop saying it, because I guarantee you I am not the only educator wishing for that right now, because it is exhausting. All right. How about this? Got a Major League Baseball story from you from last night, and this one does involve the Kansas City Royals and a team making the postseason, but it is not specifically the Kansas City Royals. Last night, the San Diego Padres were able to notch their decisive 86th victory and punch their ticket to the postseason, a 5-4 win over the Milwaukee Brewers that culminated with a walk-off winner in the 11th inning by Freddie Fermin. The former Kansas City Royal turned Padre knocked in the game-winning RBI in the 11th. He finished 1 for 2 at the plate with that lone RBI. For the year now, Freddie Fermin has hit 263, including a whopping 277 since arriving in San Diego. In the month of September, he's hitting 326. He has been very, very good for the San Diego Padres since making the move over from Kansas City. A trade that, you know, in hindsight, it breaks your heart a little bit because we all loved Freddie and what he brought to this Royals team. You know, a guy that nobody really gave a second thought to when he was a prospect in this Royals system. From the time he was signed until the day he made his big league debut, I don't recall ever hearing about Freddie Fermin. And then he got to Kansas City, and all he did was make big plays and hit the baseball really, really well.
Yeah, he was forced up in that Toronto series during the pandemic. So I think that sort of shot him up the ranks. But I'll sorry to interrupt you there, but he kind of came out of nowhere, I think, to a lot of people, except those in the organization.
Yeah, I mean, for his career now, you know, he's hit 269 with a 313 on base percentage. His career low is actually this season, where he's still hitting 263. Hit 255 with the Royals. He's hitting 277 with the Padres. He's not a big-time home run hitter. Never has been, never will be. He's a smaller guy. He's not a tremendous, you know, run producer, I would say, by any means. He's got, for his career, 94 RBIs over parts of 4 seasons, really 3 full seasons, because his quote-unquote first year, he only played in 3 games and had 7 plate appearances. So between 2023, 2024, and this season, he's only got 94 RBIs in over 900 plate appearances. So not a guy that hits home runs, not a guy that drives in a ton of runs, but he gets on base, and he hits for really good average, and he is an above-average guy behind the dish, both in terms of his frame rate, his ability to throw out runners, as well as his ability to block the ball and call a game. We all loved Freddie Fermin. it's a trade that I think we can look at if we're the Kansas City Royals as, Freddie Fermin's going to play baseball in October, right? And, he could have done that with the Royals, maybe if they hold on. I think this trade has really worked out for both sides because the Padres got a much-needed bat and a much-needed everyday catcher in Freddie Fermin, and the Royals got pitching because at the time, of course, Cole Reagans was hurt. You had just had Bubic go down for the year. Lorenzen's been off and on the IL all year long. Lugo's been off and on the IL. The Royals needed pitching, and they got that in the form of Ryan Bergert and Stephen Kolek. And Bergert has been the better of the two, but Bergert has gone on the IL. Kolek is a young prospect who I think could provide something for the Royals a little bit later on. It seemed like a real win-win trade for both sides, and I think that's the way that history will view this thing. It's just that we all kind of have an affinity in our hearts for Freddie Fermin.
Yeah, Freddie Fermin's amazing. Couldn't be happier for him to have that moment. I think it wouldn't be a stretch to have called him the best backup if he was a backup here, the best backup catcher in the game. As you mentioned, calls a really good game as well, in addition to, not being a nothing offensively. You especially considering the catching depth at the top end of this organization with Jensen and Mitchell and obviously the Hall of Famer Salvador Perez, you are moving on from Freddie after this season in one way or another. And so you will, I do think value-wise, the Royals clearly came out ahead in the deal. Padres fans will tell you that they fleeced the Royals in this trade. But after the trade deadline, I think the importance of starting pitching depth came much more into focus than it was previously. Great forward thinking by J.J. Picollo, and these two names, Bergert and Kolek, Logan, going into next season, you've got Lugo and Reagans and Walker and Cameron and Bubic. They will be starters number 6 and 7.
You did that on purpose. Spring. I swear, Nathan, you did that on purpose just to bug me. All right. I'll let it go. 913-586-7965 is our number. We've got a few more Kansas City Royals related stories, but I also want to get back, talk a little Kansas City Chiefs, because there is one trend that we've seen develop for this Kansas City Chiefs team that I am actually buying into, right? One that I think a lot of people are optimistically buying into, but I'm fully in. I think that this guy is going to be a big part of this Kansas City Chiefs team all year, even after a few key pieces inevitably return. We'll talk about that next. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams, After Hours on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5 The Fan.
Your home is more than just another listing. It's your life's work. Dawn and the Sharp Homes team treat every property as their own, employing innovative marketing strategies and providing personal attention that transforms for sale signs into sold celebrations. The Sharp Homes team can also give you options. Do you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold? Then contact the only agent I would trust to sell my home. Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. Google Sharp Homes team. That's Sharp Homes team today.
Count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Here we go.
This week, it's a must-see matchup as Lamar and the Ravens visit Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Oh, my goodness.
Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
After 40 years and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter is your go-to company for home service needs. Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. And you can play right now in Missouri. That's right, from your couch. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just choose your favorite players, and if they'll go higher or lower than stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Plus, get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can play with as little as $1. One of the easiest apps I've ever downloaded. Come join the millions of us who have already won billions over at Underdog, and download the app today and sign up with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me. Like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Billed monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
All right, gentlemen. This is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 25 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shields Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000. Or in Mississippi.
And Doug. Limu and I always tell you to customize your car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. But now, we want you to feel it. Cue the emu music, Limu.
Save yourself money today. Increase your wealth. Customize and save, we say.
That may have been too much feeling.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Tune in to Vern's On Deck show 1 hour before first pitch. Plus, your chance to win Royals tickets during the pitch clock, following the game, or on your way home from the K. Listen to Vern's postgame show with sounds from the locker room, plus your calls and texts. Miss the show? It's available on demand with the All Things Vern channel on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. Your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
That's coming up in less than 10 minutes. Vern's going to be joining you guys, getting you set for Royals Angels, set for an 8:38 first pitch. Big news for the Kansas City Royals. Bob Nightingale of USA Today reporting that Kansas City is likely to pick up the $13.5 million club option for Salvador Perez, bringing him back for the 2026 season. Not sure there was much doubt about Salvi coming back to Kansas City. It was a matter of, do they pick up the $13 million player option, or do they try to negotiate something maybe a little bit less? But when you're already taking it from a $22 million salary that he got this year down to the 13.5, with the fact that he's hit 30 home runs this year, he's approaching 100 RBIs this season, kind of is a no-brainer for a guy that I believe belongs in Cooperstown.
Yeah, that news, and I'm not sure what time the Nightingale tweet came out. It might have been broken on Cody and Gold today when JJ Piccolo joined the show. So, yeah, I mean, Salvi was recently captured saying he's going to play here the rest of his career, and JJ wouldn't give a date or he wouldn't rank it in terms of importance in the offseason. He just kind of told the guys, like, stop worrying about it. Salvi's going to be in Royal Blue next season.
He wants to. The Royals, of course, want to keep him around. Why wouldn't you? You know, he's one of only 2 catchers in Major League Baseball this year, potentially, with 30 or more home runs and 100 and more RBIs, joining Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh, still a guy playing at a very, very high level. The other bit of information that I've got for you before we call it a night here is, I mean, obviously there's a lot of optimism, I believe, for the Kansas City Royals regarding Tyquan Thornton. And some of it, I think, is people just being, you know, kind of that glass half full optimist sort of a thing. I'm not really a person that, you know, when it comes to sports, I'm not typically the most optimistic individual. I try to look at everything through an objective, you know, sort of unbiased filter. I don't typically see things through the rose-colored glasses and whatnot. I'm in. I really do think Tyquan Thornton is for real in this Chiefs offense, to the point where I believe that Tyquan Thornton, maybe not an every down guy, but if Xavier Worthy is healthy enough to play, and if Rashee Rice is the player that we saw from him last year before the ACL tear when he comes back from the injury, expect a lot, in my view, more 4 wide receiver sets for this Kansas City Chiefs team. I'm not fully on board with the thought of like him being the wide receiver 3 and not Hollywood Brown, because, I mean, while Tyquan Thornton is a lot more of a deep threat seemingly right now, he's averaging 19 yards a catch and he's got 2 receiving touchdowns. Hollywood has none. Hollywood does have 19 catches this year on 27 targets. Tyquan has 9 catches on 18 targets. So his reception rate is higher, Hollywood Brown's is, but he's not a deep ball threat the way that Hollywood Brown is. So if Worthy comes back healthy, you get Rashee after week 6. I think a lot of 4 wide receiver sets. You have a running back in the backfield, and that does its job of trying to maybe take some pressure off Travis Kelce, have him on the field a little bit less. I really do think that Tyquan Thornton is going to continue to be a part of this Chiefs offense even after Xavier Worthy comes back healthy, and especially after Rashee Rice comes back from the suspension. I think even if you have that top 3 of Hollywood, Rice, and Worthy, Tyquan Thornton will still play a good amount of, 40, 50, 60+% of the Chiefs snaps on a week-by-week basis. And I think what it will do is it will lessen the amount of snaps that we see from Travis Kelce. And if we have to go with some, sort of quote-unquote 5 wide sets, look for Noah Gray to maybe be a part of those a little bit more often than Travis. Just something to give him a little bit of pressure off. Maybe some Juju Smith-Schuster 5 receiver sets. All of a sudden, rookie wide receiver Jalen Royals, who we thought might be wide receiver 3 or 4 for this Chiefs team by the end of the year, could be staring on the barrel of wide receiver 5 or 6. And frankly, that's not a bad thing if you're Kansas City. Josh Vernier coming up next, getting you set for Royals baseball. Angels coming up at 8:38, first pitch approximately. For my producer, Nathan Williams, I'm Logan Weber. Thanks for joining us. After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought